Well, everybody, thank you for finding the new stream. If you did find us, appreciate you being here. Internet shit the bed on my PC only. Don't know why. That's really weird, but that's what happened. So we are back at it, and for part two now of this week's Fun Speculation podcast. I see Brett Bingham in the chat. I see RSJ. Thank y'all for finding the new stream. I put the link in Discord and on Twitter as well. Sup, Phoenix Freestar. Thanks for finding the new stream as well. I'm not going to keep harping on the whole leak thing. I think that ultimately, I think we can all agree that like they need to stop. And I saw somebody in the comments before had said that it's controlled leaks to get user feedback. Don't do that unless it's like some little thing, you know. Don't do that when it comes to like game announcements, major changes with the structure of your entire ecosystem. Like it just leads to like constant uh either certain people get disappointed or you have a lot of negative speculation show up from a large amount of people that want to use every excuse to shit on Xbox, right? So, Brett Bingham says, shout out to you with the $2 super chat, says, don't cross the streams, never cross the streams. Yeah, somehow the streams got fucking crossed, bro. But we're back. So, we did have leaks, though, guys, with the memo that was put out from Asha Sharma again to the Xbox team. As well as other insight has come out from this time Jess Corden at Windows Central. I was discuss this one first. Basically, that they are actually in discussions and talking about exclusivity and what that looks like. Now we've talked about this numerous times on the show because it's like one of the big topics with Game Pass, with Xbox and Game Pass, and part of this is like, again, part of the discussion has popped into it. Like they're discussing Call of Duty on Game Pass. One of the things that was said in the leak is that Game Pass, Asha Sharma said pretty much Game Pass is too expensive for the fans. We need to explore more options for the consumers, right? From that, people have taken that, okay, well, Call of Duty, maybe off the table. What are some other things? And I kind of posted a question on Twitter, is like, what would new Game Pass tiers look like? Because she's putting out there that we need to have different options that are more affordable. There's been rumors already about an ad-based tier that could be coming or be in existence. I think there was already another leak, of something being tested, right, with some of this stuff, like internally maybe. But where do we sit on Game Pass? Yes, when we are all argued about the price increase being $30. For me, that jump when they added Fortnite Crew to it and all that, I thought for many people would take it over that cusp of being a no brainer to making a decision, right? And they have reached that area now. So I think it was like a $10 price increase, was it not? Like 20, it was like a $8, $9. It's pretty substantial for price increase. A lot of times when things get incrementally, like $23 this time, okay, then eventually it's 25, 26. This was like a substantial increase, and I think that kind of bit them in the ass. I don't know whose idea that was originally. Apparently, maybe Sarah Bond's as well. I don't know, but it didn't work out in their favor. Adding Fortnite crew and stuff to add value is supposedly part of the reason why Call of Duty got brought up with this. Is because one of the reasons why the price did jump is because of the inclusion of Call of Duty into Game Pass with the new release. So now I will say it didn't help that it was one of the worst received.
Somebody there at Xbox said, "Well, the only reason no one liked this Call of Duty is because it's in Game Pass.
Oh,
If
I
it
hope
wasn't
that's
in
not
Game
what they
Pass,
said. Yeah.
that's guaranteed, and like it would have sold great if it wasn't in Game Pass. That's my thought on it, anyways.
You don't
Uh,
know like what these internal thought people, the thoughts are from the people that are on top that don't really like. Sometimes there's a disconnect, right? You have the money
yeah,
people making decisions, and they don't necessarily understand consumers or the gamers very well, or like why something didn't say. I remember there was like a specific one with like EA, and something didn't do well or whatever, and they said it was
it
for
was
some other.
Battlefield
Oh
2042,
yeah.
and because of Halo Infinite.
Yep.
Was that, yeah, maybe that was it.
That's because Xbox launched Halo Infinite early, and they're like, oh, they killed 2042.
I mean, I'm
It
like,
wasn't the bugs or broken stuff.
yeah,
No,
but
no, it was Halo.
and Battlefield's launched on top of other games numerous times in their history as well, right? it,
Yeah,
this continues to happen sometimes with some of these companies and stuff, but like for whatever reason, I do like that Asha. For whatever reason, any of this happened in the past, I do like that Asha Sharma is directly addressing issues that she sees, right? Like that is like that approach we talked about last week, Fuzz, of being like aggressive out the gates and having kind of that spark and that fire, that and we said she has all these tools at her disposal now, all these studios, all these games. It's about changing the experience or the image more so than anything, right? But as far as it being expensive, like what are your guys like? I want to get into solutions, okay? Like if you're Asha Sharma and she comes, or if let's say I'm Asha Sharma, hey Calorie, how are you doing? I just posted this memo that I want to have some changes to new tiers and or new options for the consumers to Game Pass. We all know that it's too expensive for gamers now, and especially because of the Call of Duty inclusion and this or that. What do you got as an idea for me? Because I've put this on your shoulders to save the entire industry and Xbox especially. Calorie, come up with a good one for me, please.
yeah. I think you have to do add-ons, right? I think add-ons is the answer. I think Tom Warren tweeted out this morning, or he had a notepad which nobody can read because it's
Yeah.
uh, pay gated or paywalled. But he said that they were thinking about doing a tier with just Xbox first party games, and I think that's the answer. Um,
So what does that
well, I
include?
think
Does that include Bethesda and Activision, or that's just Xbox Game Studios?
it's Xbox Game Studios and third party deals as a base tier, and then you have Bethesda games as an add-on, and I think all ABK games need to be an add-on. And that includes Call of Duty because I heard something on Jez and Rand's show, which somebody asked in the chat was like, well, if you let Call of Duty come out of Game Pass, then you already know that Todd Howard's gonna be like, well, what about Fallout 6? Why are we putting Fallout 6 in Game Pass? That's a big game. Let's take that out. And then somebody else will say, well, the next Stargate 3, that shouldn't be in Game Pass. We should take that one out. And so I think if you make an exception for Call of Duty, it's going to make a rabbit hole or open a can of worms, and then you have an issue. So just bundle all of ABK games together as one price of an add-on. If you want COD in Game Pass, you buy it and you get whatever else you get, and if you don't, then you don't. But I think that's the best solution. And then if you add, I think $15 for the base tier, $5 for Bethesda, another $5 for ABK, so you're at $25 total. But I think they have to do value add too, and I think we were talking earlier in the green screen, as Boom would say, about some sort of Audible style token, or maybe every 3 months you get a token to get. You can purchase a game in Game Pass to keep, kind of like games with gold. But for me personally, if it's gonna stay $30 a month, what you said earlier about that kick some people out, that kicked me out. I'll never pay $30 a month for Game Pass. When they announced that, I went and bought all the cards that were $20 a month, and I loaded up my 3 years, but I'm never gonna pay $30 for it. So I'd rather take that $360 a year and buy Call of Duty and buy the 3 or 4 other games that I'm gonna play, and I can wait for the other ones to go on sale. But for me, the big selling point of Game Pass has always been day one games, and if if we're gonna get rid of day one games for some reason, like Call of Duty, or not have the option to have it in there anymore, then I might just buy the games and then wait for sales. So
Yeah, I like it, man. I think there's numerous approaches, So I've seen the bundle option come up quite often with people in this question about like, okay, include these amount of games, then okay, for this amount of money, add an option for this other selection. And it's similar almost to what they have now with premium and ultimate, except for it'd be more clear and defined specifically about what's included and options on a per publisher arm basis, kind of, in a way, right? So it makes sense. You can get the most out of it as you want. I would say the detriment they would have is people potentially, okay, the month that fucking the next Fallout comes out, so you're already a Game Pass subscriber, just pay $5 extra for that month just to play the Fallout game and then drop it. You know, like, so there's downsides that they would have to look at and weigh those measures there, because those publishers don't release games that often, right? Like, so how do they do that? I think it has to, for me, it would have to be more of like, even if it's a bundle, it'd have to be more of like maybe Bethesda and ABK together, right? Just because of the amount of releases that they have. But also, like, you have to have some other stuff in there too, because like they don't release games as often as like a EA or like a Ubisoft even, like, because they have numerous titles per year. Like, individually, Bethesda and ABK maybe have like a couple releases. Now, you do have the live service games that are mixed in with there as well that you would have access to. But I would say that if you had a bundle like that, you need to include like Elder Scrolls Online. You need to include like the actual like subscription to that, and things like that as well, right? World of Warcraft, you know. Um, Now, Fuzzy, Amasha Sharma, Fuzzy, you've been a core part of our team now for longer than 20 years. I really respect your love of the brand and Xbox and have been here through the thick and thin. You know everything about what's been going on with our brand here at Xbox, as you've been the core design director of racing games here at Xbox. So, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, can you please tell me what is your answer to my question? How can we fix these tiers to be more good for our gamers?
This is going to be a tough one because I think Ultimate is in a good spot. I don't personally like the $30 price point, but I think it needs to stay plump with all the games that it has, including Call of Duty. What I will say in agreement with Calorie, I like the plan of having tiers like an add-on for Bethesda, an add-on for Activision. And sure, you'll get people that'll cancel the month after Fallout comes out or the next Elder Scrolls comes out. But considering a lot of those players are probably not going to be able to finish the game in a month, there are a handful that will be able to finish the game within the 30 days. But most people will take a lot more time. So they'll either forget to cancel or they'll come back to play it again, or they may wind up buying it when they go back to their regular, Game Pass premium tier pricing to, buy it at a discount or something along those lines. But the one thing I will say, I know we have a deal with Fortnite as far as Fortnite Crew. I think that should be one of like 5 or 6 things that people for Ultimate can pick and choose from, along with like Ubisoft Classics. Like if we're going to keep it exactly how it is, if somebody would want to substitute Fortnite, Crew and Ubisoft Classics for, the next step up with Ubisoft Plus, I would say that might be a worthwhile deal. And I think they have a couple of different ones where it's like the one that just gives you the base game and then the one that gives you the base game plus all the DLC. I would say whichever one gives you everything as far as the base game should be a fair trade off for those two. The other thing, allow everything but Ultimate to option out of cloud if they should choose to, because I think that's probably a good bit of the cost in general, considering what we have in the cloud as far as other, Series S's and X's out there that were never consoles themselves. They were just basically geared to be in as server or rate like a raid server kind of setup. Allow the two lower tiers to opt out, and then consider the advertising tier, which I don't know exactly how that's going to look. But considering how streaming has advertising tiers already, if it's something where you see an ad for a game before you start the game, like while it's loading or something along those lines, 30 seconds to a minute, I would say that's a fair thing. Otherwise, I don't think there really needs to be much change other than that the lower two tiers need to get some options to opt up to almost like Ultimate for those that don't necessarily want Call of Duty or may not even want Bethesda. But in a way, the premium, that middle tier, should get at least the Xbox Studio stuff day and date still. And whatever, smaller titles like the indies that are day and date, they could flood into that as well. And then the lowest tier is no longer no day and dates or anything like that. It's just basically like the back catalog with the first party stuff coming in a year later as far as Xbox Studios, and then they would have to opt in for an Activision or Bethesda, catalog or classics or something like that. I think adding options for the lower tiers and leaving Ultimate the top premium tier that has all the bells and whistles, although you could trade, those most recent options, I think that's probably the best price solution. In that way, it gives people, if their budget is $20, premium is still $5 less than that. They still get day and date on the Xbox Studio stuff. I think that would work, and I think we can get enough people to stay subscribed, considering our gaming output, and then possibly still buy games if we're offering that 15% or greater discount after the first 30 days of something being in Game Pass. If the person wants to own the game, why wait for the winter sale or the summer sale or some sale out of the blue from a publisher? You can get the game at a discount 30 days after being in Game Pass, and that might encourage more sales for games, more subscriptions, and more playtime. And that's kind of all the things we want.
Yeah. It's very complicated, man, because like it's like I don't I want to be in her position, but I don't want to be in her like she has all this IP, she has all these studios, she has all these like things at her disposal, a large subscription base already, that she needs to want to try and grow, but like already established there, like a lot of big time Xbox enthusiasts. She has the consumers that spend the most money in gaming. You know what I mean? Out of all the platforms, like Xbox gamers spend the most money. Like it's like she has all these tools at her disposal, right? And but there's core fundamental issues that she sees with some of the changes that have been made over the last several years, and how do you go about addressing it with their still in game goals? Because like I look at the cloud option, right, and I agree, for me like it'd be awesome, like it just like have the option of having the cloud or not, I just don't know if I see them doing that, because I think they want to convert regular gamers into start trying the cloud. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the gateway for them for the future. Like, and I'm not talking about just like next gen. I'm talking about like long term, to where eventually, yeah, everything is really just seamless everywhere, and we're all playing games, just streaming them because the quality is so good that we don't recognize the difference. Like that's maybe really long term, but like there's there's a point where you're having like a customer migration, and it's going to be slow and methodical. But they've already made a lot of strides with that, and I think part of it is because they've included it automatically with Game Pass. So Game Pass subscribers have been the ones to utilize that stuff the most, right? So it's like I could see like me trying to make that argument, like you fuzz, like, hey, we should do this because like, hey, we need to get the price down. But they're like, well, our cost of the infrastructure of the cloud isn't changing. And if we remove people paying for that, that's just going to drop our actual revenue, and we're actually going to have customers using it less. And so that might stunt our growth in there. And that might be their response to that is like, well, for their cost of maintaining and growing, and they just want to keep improving it as well, right? Is like they I think they want fundamentally want to make cloud a part of it. Now, what I think might be more likely is a cloud only tier, right? That is like, okay, really cheap. That is going to be maybe for like people that don't want to buy hardware, you know. But I don't know what games would be available with that. But people are used to paying $20 a month for GeForce Now.
Yeah.
And you don't even get a selection of games. You're just renting the servers for $20 a month. I mean, yeah, it's a great experience because you're running on like fucking 5090s and stuff, you know what I mean? But like you're not even getting a selection of games. So like if Xbox keeps improving that aspect of it, it's like, and they also have the bundle of games. I mean, that's a very good proposition for anybody that's looking for a streaming platform. And I wonder how much the release of Project Helix will improve that, because right now it's built on Series X, right? Servers blades, I think, and then in the future that will migrate maybe to like Project Helix. And how will that look in the future with better hardware running all this stuff? Will it be able to be more competitive with the quality of GeForce Now, right? Because they've already made strides. It's already like hitting 1440p with lower latency now. So interesting with the cloud stuff. Um, and that's like, and like I said with your thing, Calorie, like, yeah, it sounds awesome too. And then I like try and think of it from the business side and like what would be the arguments against it. And I think like every single thing we can come up with, even anything I come up with as well, is like there's going to be an argument about how it doesn't make sense or doesn't work. You know, and
Yeah.
the one like
A solution for unsubscribing is just to have good content roadmaps with updates.
yeah
Because if like, you know, Fallout, like Starfield, it's been what, 3 years, and we got 1.5 update like expansions. If they can do an expansion every 3 months, then you keep people subscribed. But I think that's how they change it, especially for single player games. Obviously, multiplayer games, people will just stay subscribed. But
yeah. I think
that's the solution to that.
I think part of the one of the reasons the Game Pass has gone up too is not just Call of Duty going in there, but like they've spent these money on these deals with like Riot Games, and then you have the Epic Games like for Fortnite crew and stuff. And I do question like how many subscribers they're getting from those things. And I don't know, and I don't know the deals they're making, right? But if they are spending a lot of money for those deals, for like Riot Games, where you could get all the League of Legends shit and the Valorant stuff and all that kind of stuff, and like if you look at Fortnite, you get Fortnite Crew and all that. Like, I don't know if the dollar amount they would be spending on those things would justify the amount of users they're getting, because if I just think of it realistically as like a Fortnite player, those are the players that are playing one or maybe two fucking games, right? Right? You're the Valorant player, the League of Legends, like you're targeting people that are only playing like these specific games, right? And you're including those features only in the highest tier of Game Pass, right? So convincing those people to be spending $30 a month for shit that they're not interested in playing is not very logical. Based on like what Game Pass Ultimate was compared to what the price is now for Fortnite Crew. So like if you are that gamer that wants both, it saves you like $2 based on what we were used to paying already. So it's like, okay, that was, hey, awesome, but if the person was that into Fortnite and wanted to pay the $11.99 that it was for Fortnite Crew, they were already going to do it anyway, and it doesn't really add too much of a draw to people to Game Pass, right? So you're not trying to. It's like they're trying to attract the Fortnite gamers. They're trying to attract the League of Legends and the Valorant gamers, but like, what makes them attracted to it? I don't think would really justify the means. Because like for like Valorant and League of Legends, you're just like, are you committing to paying $30 a month for content for your games? Basically, that's what they're telling them. You know, yeah, you get everything, but you're committing to content for that game. And I will say it's fucked up as an Xbox gamer for people that play League of Legends and Valorant and these Riot games and stuff to get all the extra content and shit like that for free in their games, and we're fucking not getting it in our games for the actual first party games. So you're actually offering more value because like hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of content for add-ons and shit to these gamers that aren't even interested in subscribing to Game Pass, as opposed to offering the Game Pass subscribers stuff that they actually would want to spend money on. So like put the money back into what the core actual fucking Xbox gamer is. And I would say like I would imagine that it might even be a better deal for them to not do those deals with Fortnite and Riot Games and all those other kind of things that they've been doing, and instead like, hey, take that, just cut that out, drop the price. If the people want to subscribe to those things or spend the money on those things, let them. You know, those are already there for those consumers. And we could also, if we don't want to drop the price on Game Pass and we want to keep the value up, well, let's include the subscription for our online game, Elder Scrolls Online. Let's give the price for the premium editions of the games with early access. You know, let's stop asking people that subscribe to a $30 a month platform to pay an extra $30 to play it 5 days early, right? Like, and let's actually give them the content that's coming out instead of paying Riot Games and all this shit for something that hasn't grown the Game Pass subscription count. Like, because it's been about the same since before those deals were even made. So stand behind your games and your content and then double down on all that shit. And I think that's where the value is, because you can establish something more there instead of like casting such a. I agree with casting a wide net, but that needs to be in the variety of types of games that you offer, not in just going after one specific audience and thinking we're going to get some kind of magic fucking thing to happen. I'm curious what they thought was going to happen with the Fortnite Crew thing.
Yeah, I think they're selling the wrong product. They tried to think of Game Pass as the product, and that's never been the product. The product's the games. So you're investing money into like making Game Pass this go-to product to get all this third-party stuff when they should have made the games better. And if the games are good, people will find a way to buy it. If that's through Game Pass or through the games, it doesn't matter. But to me, the games are a sunk cost. You're gonna make the games anyways. So at that point, the money's spent, and now you should put it all into Game Pass and get a good deal for your subscribers. But I agree with you. I think the third party deals, even EA Play and Ubisoft, I would be fine with those leaving, and all that money that was going to them, put it into first party and make the best first party deals you can. I love the idea of like all the premium content for Ultimate members, early access free. There should be exclusive skins in multiplayer games that you can only get if you're an Ultimate player subscriber, and make it so that's where people want to be at.
Like, I think there needs to be an all-in kind of tier. You know what I mean? Like, I think there needs to be a tier that's Yeah, it's whether it's $24.99, $20 or $30, whatever whatever the top tier they have is, right? I think it needs to include all the first party games across the board, right? If they want to have the higher price at 30, I think they need to add the value back into what with with that, you know? Um that kind of stuff, more games, more or more content for those games, all the other stuff that comes for those games. But not reach out to like fucking black hole games and think you're going to get some kind of turnaround in subscription growth from those gamers that are used to playing games for free to pay $30 a month, right? So I just think it was just like a flawed outlook from consumer acquisition for them, of like what audiences to target. Maybe worth a shot, but I think they need to cut those deals. I don't know what the contracts are, so I don't know if they can, but hopefully so. As far as the Ubisoft stuff goes and the EA Play, I like the addition of those. And because it is like 6 months later, I don't think it was a huge thing for like the 6 months to a year is think around when the EA games go in there, and that's one of the first value edition ads they had um, to Game Pass. And then Ubisoft kind of did the same thing. PlayStation has this Ubisoft deal as well. I don't think Ubisoft's deal is probably asking for a crazy amount because they were already throwing a shit ton of Ubisoft games into Game Pass anyway. Like, there's not a whole lot of difference if you look at the Ubisoft like classics catalog that's offered now comparatively to what was already hitting Game Pass routinely. So I think the dollar difference there is probably not that dramatic. I think it just became more structured. I think instead of like, okay, instead of us just like looking at each individual fucking game all the time doing this, like, can we just have like a regular like systematic approach to this? And I think that's kind of what the deal they had made with EA early on as well. I think it makes sense. Those deals kind of make sense for me for all three of those, and I do think there is something there for EA, especially with the variety of games that they have, because you have all the sports games, in there. You have the Star Wars stuff that they have. They have a lot of different shit that they're putting out, as well as Ubisoft has like this classic IP. So you're kind of making an IP play at that point, like for like back catalog library, you know. Um, I'll say drop the price $5 to start. Cut Fortnite crew off of it and add something else. That would be my first thing. Second thing, add supported tier. Maybe just Xbox first party. That includes all of Xbox first party. And then the premium. The key is premium. I think needs to change because premium is what we were used to paying for Ultimate back in the day, right? At $14.99. So premium we used to be used to getting day and date for that price. Now it was a lot less games, you know. So I think they need to change the structure of premium, but I don't know how. It's hard to
make premium just the. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say just 3 or 4, first party titles, day and date. The rest are, 6 months to a year behind. That'll be the happy medium. Doesn't take away value from, Ultimate, and you still get, people that are paying, that lower price that feel like they're getting a better value, and that will more than likely make them not want to subscribe and unsubscribe kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Another interesting idea is you could drop. What if you dropped Ultimate to like 15, lowered everything down, and you took away day one games for all of them, but then for every first party or even third-party deal that they have, they just do like a premium upgrade of $7.99, and if you pay $7.99, then you get that game day one. If you don't, you wait 2 months, and then it comes into the service. So that way they're still getting a cut, but then your monthly is lower. So for me, some first-party games I don't need day and date because I don't care, but some of them I want day and date. And then premium games like COD, okay, this one's $15 if you want a day and date. And then the smaller games like Kiln is $5 if you want a day and date. But that's an idea. I don't know. But I think the main point is just to get it lower, because if it's $15 a month, people will just leave it on their card and they'll never look at it. But $25 a month, I'll be canceling it, restarting it, canceling it, restarting. You know what I mean?
I had thought about this too, and I don't know if this would make sense, but like if you have been a subscriber of Game Pass for a certain amount of months, at some point you meet a threshold to where your discount on buying games goes up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they know you're returning, like you're paying that Game Pass for Game Pass Ultimate, I would say specifically, but like
Yeah.
they know you're paying that $30 every month, right? You're playing their games, right? But because of that, it's like, okay, well you're used to not necessarily buying all the first party games because they're just there. You know what I mean? So like, how do you entice the Game Pass Ultimate subscriber to actually purchase some of these things? And I think one, if you have been a subscriber for 3 months, you know, maybe your discount goes from 10% to 20%. Once you've been a subscriber for 6 months, your discount goes up to 30%, you know? And then if you've been a consistent subscriber for over a year, go fucking crazy. Give them fucking half off. And if you maintain your subscription, your $70 games, you're spending $35 plus your subscription. You know what I mean? I think that like they're still coming out ahead there. That's essentially almost doing the same thing as like the premium upgrade, trying to get people into buying that. But you're giving like and I'm not talking about every game. I'm talking about the first party games and stuff like that, because that wouldn't work out with their third party partners, right? But I'm talking about like Xbox first party games, like as an incentive for you to be purchasing the first party games. Imagine Forza Horizon 6 just comes out and we've been a subscriber of Game Pass for a year straight, and being able to buy that for like $35 out the gate. You know what I mean? And hey, that's value that added right there for your subscription, and that gives, it's just something I thought about off the top of my head. I don't know how it works out in numbers and dollar wise, but I know it would incentivize me to not only buy those games, to play those games in Game Pass, but also to buy those editions and stuff like that, or the extra content, especially if I was getting like half off of all the extra content or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it's just a thought. I don't know, throwing it out there. I think the
What do you guys
discount,
think of?
they decreased the fucking discount when they increased the price. They should have been
Yeah.
opposite. You know what I mean? Like they should have, when they increased the price, we should have gotten a bigger discount on the deals. So
Yeah, that's an interesting idea, but my thought was, what's the point of buying it if you have Game Pass and you're going to stay subscribed? Then I thought about, so like my son wanted to play some game with me that was in Game Pass, but I wasn't going to subscribe to Game Pass for him, and I wasn't going to buy the game. So it'd be an interesting idea if Xbox copied like Nintendo's game key cards, or no, what are they called? Virtual game carts. So if I bought a copy of the game, I could then lend that to anybody I wanted, and then they can just send it back. I don't know if you guys have a Switch too, but like I can
yeah.
buy Mario Kart and I can send that to my son's Switch or anybody's Switch, and they can play my copy of the game digitally as long as they want, and then they can send it back. And that to me would be worth buying the game, because then I have a second copy, so I can be playing on my account, and and obviously there's like game sharing, but that's just one console, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, they just need to do value adds, right? And there's opportunities there, but they're a huge company that takes forever to make decisions. So
Yeah. It's just like rewards for people that are the most loyal consumers. You know,
I agree.
make the value increasingly best, because guess who's going to be talking about and spreading the word? about how awesome things are, is those gamers. And when like people see they're having to pay a certain price, but like, hey, we get to pay this if we want to buy this certain edition. And the benefit also, like, people are asking what would be the benefit necessarily. That means you'd be able to buy like the $100 edition for $50 if you wanted to. You know what I mean? And like, or 60 or whatever. Like there's tons of different options you could throw out there. Money people like will try and probably decrease the discount, but you look realistically, a lot of these games 3 or 4 months later they drop down to that price anyway.
Yep.
And a lot of
Oh
the
yeah.
Game Pass subscribers aren't buying them out the gate. And a lot, and I like you were talking about Calorie, like you looking for those sales even on the first party games. Like you're buying the ones that are going to be backwards compatible and all that kind of stuff, right? That are cheaper deals. So like, um, if there is truth out there that we're trained or whatever to fucking not buy games, hey, incentivize us to still be subscribed and give us more reasons to buy those games instead of just use the subscription. Um, I think it would. I think it could be interesting to see how it plays out. If it doesn't work out, change it. But I think it'd
Yeah.
be worth a try.
Exactly. Dude, test marketing.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think for Helix, I have this dream because I'm wondering how they're going to compete against Steam, right? Because if I have to buy a game and I'm not subscribed to Game Pass, which a lot of people aren't, and I have to pick between an Xbox first party game on Helix or on Steam, I'm just going to buy it on Steam because I can run it on Helix and I could run it on my Xbox Ally and I can run it on my Steam Deck, I can run it on a lot of stuff. So I've had this idea that they must know when a first party game comes out how many purchases are on Steam versus like on an Xbox or even in the Windows Store. But they're losing 30% to every Steam purchase. So why don't they just take that 30% and give it to back to their customers? So if you buy on Helix or if you buy on the Windows Store, it's 30% cheaper. And then that pushes people back to your console and you don't have exclusives, but it's 30% cheaper if you buy it on our box.
That
And
might not go over well with the
European Union.
yeah, like with like FTC and shit like that, because you're it's not fair competition at that point. Like,
it's probably true.
yeah,
I think you could hide it behind a subscription. So if you are
exactly. Yeah,
subscribed to Game Pass, you
you can
could
add
do
as a
it,
deal, right?
or have it where you're doing add-ons as long as it's not COD, because I think they agreed in court that they couldn't do that for 10 years with COD. But um, have cosmetics or maybe additional things, because you could sell a more complete edition for the same price as everywhere else. I mean, PlayStation's proven that for years. Where like what was it, Hogwarts? They had a whole mission that they got free for at least a year for the same price everybody else was paying. So start doing. I hate saying doing underhanded stuff, but make it so with the exception of COD, hide skins or maybe the first DLC or something like that. Buy it on Helix. You get the first DLC included in the standard, 69.99 price or something like that.
Yeah.
Did he
But
technically sign a deal with Steam? I thought they went to Steam and he said, "I don't need a deal. I trust them," but I can't remember.
Well, yeah, no, the
Uh,
deal was about COD for the European
Place,
Union wanted them
yeah,
to not do that. Well, like what Sony was doing with extra missions, extra loadouts, extra skins, and things like that.
yeah,
Steam, he doesn't really need a deal because he, well, at least when Phil was there, he trusted him, and I'm pretty sure he'll continue. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, they're going to have to
Where's
figure something to incentivize.
Where's my
The,
Switch 2 COD though? That's what I'm wondering.
supposedly they're working on it. Like that was another thing that just came out. That it might actually be sooner than you think. Um,
Cool.
so we'll see. But that was just a report on that as well. I do like these discussions though, because we're like trying to think about like hey, what can help them grow in a way that's also incentivizing the customers, as opposed to a lot of the shit I've just been seeing online is like, hey, let's save them money by fucking us over more. That's better, like, hey, let's give up all these things, and that way, you know, that's better for their business. And that's not like, I don't think, however, like, consumers should think. Like, I've seen a lot of arguments being made regarding the exclusivity thing and stuff. And like I said numerous times, I don't care either way. If they put games on PlayStation, fine. If they take games off of PlayStation, fine. If they decide whatever games they decide to do multi-plat on PlayStation or not, like, I could care less, right? Because it doesn't affect me, right? That was always like an emotional reaction, I think, from gamers that causes brand damage in the first place. But what I've seen is this, like, argument. I was talking to you guys a little bit about this before we went live. I've seen this argument come from a lot of Xbox gamers now that are using arguments that PlayStation gamers have been in podcasts and games media has been attacking Game Pass for this entire generation, right? That we've all been defending against, right? Xbox gamers never buy games. Like, Xbox, like, it's ruining the industry. It's doing all this stuff, and we've all been like, this is awesome. Game Pass is fucking awesome. Game Pass is great. Game Pass is sick. When the Game Pass price increased, went up, I said that sucks. A lot of people are like, we should pay whatever they ask because it's so awesome. And I'm like, no, it's like, it's not necessarily like what. But before, when the whole argument was always being made from all these anti Xbox podcasts, is what I'll call them. They call themselves PlayStation podcasts or gaming podcasts, but they're just anti Xbox podcasts, right? Games media is anti Xbox games media that is just doing clickbait all the time. Has just this entire generation been trying to say that we shouldn't be getting games day and date. And we've always, this entire generation, been battling for the fact that it's a great option. Game Pass is awesome. We love it. We're subscribed to it. It's profitable. It's sustainable. All these things that have been attacked this entire fucking generation until this and until they took exclusivity away and they put games on PlayStation. Then all of a sudden, a lot of Xbox gamers flipped. It's not sustainable. They can't do it. We got to take COD off of it. Hey, like, we got to they got to stop day and date. Would you rather have exclusivity or would you rather have Game Pass day and date? And I keep seeing this. I'm like, guys, who are we? Like, we've been, like, advocating and championing this for this entire generation and before, saying how it's so awesome and so good for us. And now, just because we're emotional that other people are playing some games, right, that used to be exclusive on Xbox, and we want that energy back, we are willing to take less of a deal to have that feeling, right? Now, the feeling only exists because all you fucking guys lost your heads in the first place when the games went off the platform. If you just remained even keel and the games media, like, everybody's just like, hey, this just is what it is, this whole situation wouldn't even exist. But it exists, so it has to be dealt with because the brand damage exists from the same people that said that the brand damage is going to happen. If that makes sense. The people that were concerned about it are the same people that are causing it, because it's the people that actually give a shit that other people can play games or not. So those are the same people now that want games to be taken away from day and date in order to have exclusivity again. And this made up metric where it has to go hand in hand, right? It has to be one for one. which never came from anywhere. That never came from anywhere. That's been something that was fabricated back before, after ABK happened, before Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was announced that it was going to Game Pass stand date. People were saying, oh, we don't want Game Pass to go up at that point, so they shouldn't put Call of Duty into Game Pass, right? We don't want this, so there's blah, 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 blah. So blah, 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 blah. How about let's always fucking argue for the best for us? Lower prices, more content, better content. Like, regardless if it's possible or not, I'm never going to be on the side of they shouldn't do that because it's costing them too much money. I'll say they should. Hopefully they can. I really fucking want that, or it really sucks if they change that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and give them the fucking ideas. Like, I'm not going to sit there and advocate for it. You know what I mean?
I think what we're learning now is multiplat didn't work. Sony backed out of it, and then we're seeing what Starfield sold 140,000 copies on PlayStation. Was that worth the year of development time and all the money they put into it? So to me, it's not worth it. To me, the real competition that Xbox has is not PlayStation, it's Steam. Especially when Helix is going to come out, and you can buy the same game on the Steam store or the Xbox store. That's where their competition is. I don't know how they'll deal with that. That's above my pay grade, but I think they had Forza successful on PlayStation, and they had Sea of Thieves, and everything else has been a flop. So I would just back up from it. It's not worth it.
Right.
But
it's the whole thing. It's like the way I look at it is this. It's a balancing act. It's the health of the image and the hardware, selling more hardware and brand image, versus the potential health and security of the studios. Right?
Yep.
And and that's why I think Phil was always on that case by case basis thing. You know, because like it's going to be determined on basically like what did they need to make more money on, besides what. And those are the games I think were probably the ones that were going other places. I don't know. What do you think about that, Fuzz?
It was definitely the case when it came to Hi-Fi Rush. They probably already had talks in regards to Tango and its overhead and whether or not to approve their next project, whether it was going to be another Evil Within or that anime game that was rumored at a while. Because I guess Hi-Fi Rush didn't do as well, but then when they put it on PlayStation, it didn't seem to do as well. Now, me personally, I think it would do great on the Switch 2, but I think that ship has sailed since they closed Tango, and then Tango was repurchased or reopened by Nexon or something like that. So, or NetEase, I think. So we'll see how that goes. But what was it? I keep on wanting to call it Parliament. What was the one from Obsidian? Intimate. That one I don't think did that well on Xbox and PC, and didn't do that well on PlayStation. But it was kind of a niche game. Which, funny enough, there's a game in Tidbits that's kind of similar to it. So we'll see how that one does. But Sentiment, I think, considering Obsidian, they've probably been the best oiled machine as far as putting out games in a relatively fast fashion. Well, considering what it probably costs for the labor for Avowed as well as Outer Worlds 2 and whatnot, having Pentiment go elsewhere was kind of to fill the coffers a little bit better, and I don't think that panned out as well. But Sea of Thieves definitely did decent numbers. Forza Horizon 5 definitely did decent numbers. I think if they really wanted to do a case by case, kind of like what you and Calorie had talked about earlier, if it's a multiplayer component to some extent, maybe it needs to be, play on all platforms or multi-platform. If it's a single player, maybe give it a case by case kind of basis. Look at, is this something that if you put over there, it's going to sell less Xboxes? I mean, I think
That's a
that
question
argument is
too.
hard to.
And how many more
Yeah.
Xboxes do they sell by not doing that? That's gonna like that's gonna be subjective. You know.
Yeah. But I think something like Starfield, that even though people will say it wasn't the killer app to sell more consoles, I think that's your closest bet. Now, it comes down to marketing. It probably comes down to, after launch support, which they've had a couple of expansions. It would have been nice if they were a faster turnaround, but Bethesda is like firing on all cylinders and burning at both ends of the candle kind of thing because we want a Fallout 5 at some point. They got Elder Scrolls 6 as their main priority, and then the continued support for Fallout 76. Starfield crew only has but so much, I guess, resource to pull from. So something like that, I think honestly would have probably been better kept close to the vest. I don't think selling a Starfield console would have, moved the needle anymore. But one thing I have noticed this generation more so than last generation, it doesn't seem to be any bundles. And I know sometimes they bundle in like 3 months of Game Pass, which seems to be a decent thing to do. But I think there's enough old school people that are like, they might be on the fence for Starfield, but if they see it bundled, or if they were to see, Forza Horizon bundled, they might be more willing to pick up that console. That's what worked for me when I came to Xbox from PlayStation. Although I was shooting more so for Sunset Overdrive, the fact that I was getting Assassin's Creed and because I was buying that same day, I got a discount on a handful of other games because I wound up buying Sunset, Dead Rising 3, Forza Horizon 2, and there was another one. Oh, Rise Son of Rome, and there was probably a couple other ones that I bought that same day, but because I was getting all of that at once, I got a discount by buying all of that through GameStop. Doing bundles might be something that they need to look at again because that I think that might help them move
Yeah.
consoles and less need to put games elsewhere. I think, or at least that's my 2 cents on it.
I think every game should launch on Xbox first, and then they can decide after. Because what the worst thing you want to do is announce it beforehand, like they did with Forza Horizon 6, and then the game. Well, we know that's going to blow up, but it blows up, right? And then you have promised them that it's going to be on their console. Like PlayStation makes NDAs with all of their third-party deals. It says you're not allowed to say this is coming to Xbox. Why do they do that? Because it works. But Xbox is just like, oh, you guys, Indiana Jones, don't worry, just wait 2 months after launch and it'll come to
Yeah,
PS5
they gotta stop that
before the
shit.
game before the game comes out. Like, just say it might come to other consoles at a later date. If the game blows up and you don't need to, don't do it. And if the game doesn't blow up or you need some extra sales, then go for it. But I think, or even vice versa, if it blows up and you think you'll make a ton of money on PlayStation, go for it. Yeah, I don't think they need to. And then sunk cost fallacy, right? Like if the game's dead, don't go put a bunch of more money porting it to another console. That's
Yeah.
my opinion on it. But I don't think we should do any day and date games that aren't like major ABK and Bethesda games. But I think Fallout like other Elder Scrolls 6 should be 6 month
Yeah.
exclusive.
Like
And we don't tell them.
that when like she first took over when we were coming through like and I like I said this is almost like it kind of goes against what I want for the industry and stuff and like because I could care less but just business wise like for Xbox because of the image and all that stuff like I agree like I said that one of the first things they should do I said stop the leaks and I said timed exclusivity would probably be the best option for them at this point just like because they're trying to change the image of like not having that. For whatever it's worth, I think it shouldn't even matter. I think we should all be buying games based on the quality of the hardware and the features and services it provides and how good the games are. Right? I don't want to be in a world where I have to buy 5 different things for a TV just because there's 1 or 2 games on there I might want to play. You know what I mean? And that's the world we lived on in for a long time, having to buy 3 devices, right? But games are so easily movable to different platforms now and stuff. They're built differently, like they're built on PCs, like across the board, and like they can the architecture is so similar that it's like there's not any reason any game can't be played on one of these other devices, um, except for the Switch. Um, but for me, it's like I want to choose the hardware based on the quality of it. However, for the sake of the reality of how gamers' mindsets work and what's happened, I think that would be the best case, and that would still leave them options open for what, like you said, what to release. Um, Not advocating for it, but business wise, like if I was her, that's probably what I would do. You know, like you can't be kumbaya. You got to be a little bit cutthroat, and she seems like she is. I think they also need to completely not put the other logos on the fucking shows, like you guys said. Like it's just stupid. You're funding the show. There's no reason for you to be telling people that the game's available in anywhere else but your own store. Let them figure it out for themselves. Every other platform
Yep.
does the same thing, right? Like you're not going to be looked at as any like, oh, you're not being honest with your review or whatever. It's just stupid to tell people that on your own things that stuff is available in other stores. Like you don't see Target having a fucking commercial for like fucking toilet paper, and so I'm like, oh, hey, you can also get this at Walmart. You know, like it's just fucking stupid. It doesn't make any damn sense, right? Um,
Yeah.
it's very weird. But anyway, besides,
I
yeah, go
I
ahead.
think there was just a big push for them to go full platform or publisher, and that's what she just needs to decide. Are they going to be a platform holder or a publisher? And if you're going to be a platform holder, you have to compete, and that means exclusives. But like for me, all I remember is back to that court case when they were talking about, well, PlayStation has no equal in the market because we've seen them raise all their prices and nothing happened, which is the definition of a monopoly. I still remember all those arguments. And if PlayStation exits, even they are exiting the console space and going to this hybrid PC. But if they exit all the way, I mean it's GG's. PlayStation games will be $200 and PS6 will be 2,000 because they'll have no competition. So for me, it's all about competition because there are 1 or 2 PlayStation games I want to play, and I don't want to have to take a mortgage out to do it. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. These consoles are getting more expensive. Like, and so like, if they don't change the exclusivity thing at all, which I'm completely fine with, right? Like that somebody asked a question in the chat. I think it was Ron. Let me go back and see this because I wanted to read it earlier. Uh, 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 uh. Damn it. But basically, what he said was how can they said the next gen console will be expensive. How can they sell them with no exclusives? So that's the question, right? And my thing that I would say to that is that's the exact question that Asha Sharma should be asking. And and either you go all in on one direction, realizing you're going to maybe sell less games, right? You're going to maybe sell a little bit more hardware. Who knows what the trade-off is there? Or you say we're not going to do exclusives, and that's fine with me too. But you have to figure out how do you market it? How do you market it? How do you what's the messaging? That's a good question. How do you sell this more expensive device with no exclusives? And that's a completely fair question, and there could be an answer for that. It's just how do they get that message across? That's what she should be asking. That's what she should be talking to the team about. That's what she should be having these discussions. And it's exactly the question that needs to be going on internally for the next gen. How do we have the best possible outcome for our next gen hardware device, right? with it if we don't have exclusives, right? And if they all meet and says we can't, it's impossible, then they're like, okay, well, what's the alternatives to that? What are our strategies? And these are the kind of meetings they should be having right now. And I think it's exactly what they are having right now. I think that is the exact discussions, like as Jez said, they are having a lot of discussions about exclusivity in his article. I think that is the exact things they are talking about right now. I think they're weighing the future of what they're doing, the outcome, the potential results with the decisions that have been made in the past, and what decisions do they need to make going forward. And as she has said before, the plan is the plan until it's not the fucking plan, right? So she's willing to change shit on a dime. And we'll see what their answer is to that. We will find out. If they believe they can sell consoles and still be a prominent hardware developer in a world with no exclusives, then we'll see them get behind that and try and deliver that message 100%, and we'll see how good they do, right? And I would commend them for that if they accomplish it, because I think that's what would be best for all of us, right? However, and I'm not just talking about Xbox users, I'm talking about gamers in general in the industry. Because if somebody can really succeed at that and be profitable and change the industry in that regard, we all win. All gamers win, because that puts pressure on all the platforms to do the same thing. If they can really, really succeed. And if they can't, and they just said it's not going to be the way we go and we need to bring exclusives back, then we just need to find out what they're doing and how they're going to do it and how they're going to message that. Because on the flip side, there will be a lot of people upset at that decision too. You will have a lot of games media upset at that decision. You will have a lot of these PlayStation guys upset at that decision too, right? That wanted to play the next blah, 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 blah. And before y'all were talking about which games, if you had to make the decision, like on which games to do on a case by case, multiplayer versus single player, you said like put the single player exclusive, make the multiplayer multiplat. I almost, just to be like, if I was trying to be a dick and really trying to be aggressive, I would almost flip that shit on them. Because Xbox was always the place of the great multiplayer fucking games. Going back to the history of Xbox, like Halo, Forza, Gears, like you got so many different experiences. And PlayStation, look, they struggle with fucking multiplayer. They still struggle with multiplayer, right? One of the draws to Xbox and Xbox Live and all that stuff was always how great and fun it was to play multiplayer games on Xbox. It was something the other consoles didn't have. So in a way, I would almost be like, you know what? Fucking keep all and hoard all our fucking multiplayer games and experiences, and we'll give them the single player ones that are so limited. We're not going to be making more money on these anyway in-house, because they're not long-term recurring revenue type games. We'll give them some of those. They can play them like 6 months later, for full price, with some updates, and that's almost like how I would approach it. Could you imagine if Forza Horizon 6 was exclusive, like 100%, and they knew that after like the success of Forza Horizon 5? All these previews going around right now and stuff, like.
Yep, and you announced that all multiplayer games will be exclusive permanently, and we're dropping the Xbox Live paywall.
PC and Xbox, man. Like,
yeah,
you don't need PlayStation gamers for your fucking multiplayer games. You haven't needed them for fucking 30 years, and your foundation of Xbox was built around multiplayer. Let's just be real, right?
There can't be a paywall for multiplayer on Helix, right?
It's gonna be. I'm trying to figure that out, man. I've been trying to figure that out, dude. That is a great question. That is another question they got to be talking about internally, because how are you gonna do that?
It's a PC, man. Yeah. What I was thinking about. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a good way to market this, and I don't know if they'd be ready, and they wouldn't do it when Phil is in charge, but Asha doesn't have those ties. But imagine the week after they announce the Steam machine price, they come out and announce Helix like release window, and it's only $300 or $400 more, but the specs are way better. That's how you can compete. Because really, again, to me, Steam is their competition now. PlayStation's not. But
Yeah.
because if for what you're getting, I'm gonna bet you it's a good deal, especially with RAM prices, what they're gonna be and everything. Because they'll have the discounted bulk rates, so it's still gonna be a good deal over building your own custom PC.
Gotta get to a couple super chats here real quick.
Yep.
Shout out to Mac22TH54 with the $2 super chat. It says COD, it's gonna chug so hard on the Switch too. Yeah, it's gonna be chugging. Choo choo. They'll be saying choo choo motherfuckers when they're playing COD on the Switch. They'll say that shit will be chugging, man. It'll be pixelated, bro. Like, I mean, have y'all seen when we're doing tidbits and stuff, the trailers for some of the ports for the Switch 2 games on AAA games? Like, I'm talking about last generation games or the generation before sometimes on games that are being ported to the Switch. And I'm like, holy shit. You know, uh, it doesn't play those games. It doesn't look as good as I was hoping it would on those ports, right? And that's just based on the trailers. So, like, if they can't make the trailers look that good, I can't imagine what it actually is to play some of those actually on the device. But Alvin9033, appreciate you, Alvin. Member for 46 months, says, imagine Clockwork Revolution Helix launch exclusive. Hey, bro. I mean, like we said, Asha Sharma has the tools. Phil left her a treasure trove, man. Like, if this was Legos, she has a table full of fucking Legos. Just every fucking set. You know, they just got to go in and just build something out of it. Incredible. And I think based on what's happening so far, it's very early. But I like her mentality with the messaging that she's giving because we have so many leaks of internal memos to go off of, guys. This is amazing. Speaking of, one of the memos was pointed to this stuff. I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on this. Now, this was true. This was behind Tom Warren's paywall. So I got this from Ecstasis. I think is how you say his name. So he had translated to Spanish. So then we had to translate it back to English. So this is like a double translated Tom quotes, I guess, in the memo. But we're gonna see how accurate it is. Did you send that to me, babe? Did you send that to me? The thing?
What?
The translated thing?
Yeah.
Is it
Texted
send it?
it to you.
You texted it. Okay. Thanks. I knew she sent it to me, but I can't remember where it was. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, I thought this was very interesting. So it says it is clear that our ambitions require a deeper investment in the foundations of the Xbox platform than we have made in the past. Today, we operate across dozens of surfaces, pipelines, and release models without a shared code repository or a common database. As a result, quality and velocity depend too often on heroics rather than systems. Furthermore, we lack a consistent infrastructure for experimentation, attribution, and learning, which makes it difficult to know what works and to iterate quickly. On the product side, our front end is a collection of experiences built at different times, where discovery, relevance, and social features are not first-class citizens, and players have to work to figure out what to do next or how or who to play with. Going on to what Ecstasis had said, so the quote, like he was saying, is we rely on heroics, not systems. Quality and release speed are achieved through the team's overexertion, not because they have solid infrastructure that makes it easier. Basically, is what he was saying. That, and I get the same thing from that. They lack consistent tools to experiment and learn. It's hard for them to know what's really working and how to improve quickly. A Frankenstein interface is what he's saying. They admit that the front end is a patchwork of experiences built in different eras. And then the player does the dirty work, is what he's saying. Discovery, relevance, and the social features aren't top notch. Sharma confesses that players have to work hard to find out what to do next or who to play with, right? Basically, he said, in short, a reality check, Xbox knows its user experience is broken and they're going to hit the brakes to fix the platform's pipes, before it all collapses. Like, it comes across to me like she's coming in as a person, like, with a mission of, like, assessing everything right now and looking for, like, the root causes of problems, right? Whether how serious problems are, or, like, we think things are good or whatever. Like, these are things that she's analyzed so far from being there, that is like, we need to fix. Like, we have to fix the structure of how we just do things in general. And it's coming across like she's basically saying like Xbox has become too Microsofty in a way, like, because there's like all these different like tools they're using that are from these different eras. There's not like a cohesiveness that is going on, and I think that's part of like also where all the teams had been like doing so many different things, and it's just things weren't really coming together. I'm seeing like a renewed focus, right? A renewed focus on getting to the groundwork of let's fix the foundational issues, right? And then we can build from there, because we got the content. We got the games, we got the content, we got all that stuff. So we need to fix the core experience, and for her, that starts with the console user as well. So, like, we talked about it last week, Fuzz. Renewed energy kind of coming in. Like, I like the energy of coming in as like attacking issues. You know what I mean? Attacking issues, not being afraid to call out the issues with the teams, but in a positive, constructive way of like, here's what I see is wrong. And probably a lot of people on those teams would be like, yeah, I fucking agree. We've been saying the same shit. And it's like, okay, well, how do they address it, right? So what do you take from those comments in the memo?
As far as like having teams and stuff like that are kind of like their internal feedback loop and doing the problem solving, that's probably some of the best steps that she can take to get out of, I guess, the shadow of the previous leadership, and making sure, like, I guess the big thing is we saw how fast of a turnaround from the time she takes the keys to the release of updated UI and a few other updates to back and pad and things along those lines, as well as the quick resume stuff, and even the achievements. Like all of those things we know were kind of in the works under Phil, but for whatever reason, those were no longer the priority. And whether it was leadership above Phil that was like, hey, we want our 30% cut, or just whatever other data and analysis changes they had to do behind the scenes, that stuff kind of got shelved. So being able to go working with a team that takes the feedback internally, and it's like, hey, we've had these other projects kind of completed, but we were just kind of waiting to kind of release them or announce them and things like that. I think having a team like that will help identify the low hanging fruit, or the stuff that's probably easy to get across the finish line. So that way, like I've been saying for like these past several weeks, they've had more enthusiasm and energy as far as Xbox news being positive across the board. I mean, there's been some negative stuff here and there, but like in the news cycle, usually the negative stuff gets a response from Asha, like when they tried to say she was AI, or some of the stuff like I think it was Kotaku where Stein had to kind of clap back and stuff. They're more on top of their messaging. They're more on top of things that us gamers in the ecosystem will notice. So I have to hand it to her for putting this team in place and kind of going through things that gives us excited, keeps them in the news cycle. The more people are talking about Xbox in a positive light, or maybe in a salty light for those on Team Blue, I think is a good thing. It's definitely better than, and I know people hate the rake step analogy, but it always seemed to follow. Oh, Sony had bad news. They laid off 10 people. Let's see what Xbox is going to do before Friday. Oh, they laid off 10,000 people. And it's like it's an industry wide thing, but the gaming media laser focuses on when Xbox does it as opposed to when PlayStation does it. When PlayStation does it, a certain Keeley guy doesn't post anything about it. It's like, oh, well, such and such firewalk closed. Not PlayStation closed firewalk or Sony closed firewalk. No, they closed. Just, I guess they magically decided to wake up one day and leave the doors locked. But if it was Xbox, one of their studios, oh, Tango Gameworks, was shuttered by Phil and crew over at Xbox. It's like, well, Bethesda was acquired because they were having financial issues beforehand, and if any of those financial issues weren't resolved after the merger, it's kind of expected. I mean, especially when there were talks internally that Bethesda was going to spin off or sell, Tango at some point. But the gaming media wants to push that narrative. Hey, Xbox doesn't know how to manage studios. Let's all forget about Bungie over here and Firewall can't manage stuff. So this feedback team, I think, is warranted and probably the best bet as far as keeping them on message and keeping them, targeted in a way that they don't have slip ups. I mean, yeah, there's still leaks like we talked about earlier, but I don't know. I think at some point they'll find the culprit and there'll be another fix that the feedback team will probably take care of. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they're purposeful leaks either. I think like they would rather this stuff be kept in house. I think any company would like their internal discussions kept in house, and as well as like meetings and plans, like if I have a meeting at my business and we're talking about different pricing or whatever, you know, that's not meant for the consumer, or changes we're making to the way we operate. It's not meant for our customers, it's meant for us, so um Keller, what do you think about those statements and trying to addressing some of the more core issues with their like systems? I mean, the systems in place for the developers, systems in place for and part of this is user experience as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting because at my work right now, we're getting a new manager, and we're a small team, but we're spread out globally. And previously, we kind of all were just our own little islands. So we had one objective, and we'd all go about it our own way. But this new guy's come in and said, actually, we're all going to do it my way. So everyone delete all the tools you have on your PCs. You're going to install the tools I use, and you're going to do it the way I do it so that we deliver the same product. And that's kind of what I was hearing from what she was saying. They don't have a shared code repository. They don't have shared code between teams. And it kind of goes into the interview with, what's the guy? Matt Booty, where he was talking about all the teams sharing and working together. So I think they might be doing it. Obviously, we started seeing a bunch of studios go to Unreal Engine 5. What it kind of makes me think of is like the success Capcom is having can really be traced back to them pushing all their games to RE Engine and just becoming experts in house of using their own engine. And I don't think that Xbox and Microsoft Studios games needs to use one engine, but it is interesting that that's what she's kind of focusing on. Is tooling and make sure that everybody's on the same page when it comes to getting development out, because it makes sense. Like, you do hear about it that we had to get Joseph Staten in to fix Halo. We had to get all these people to come in and fix it because it was broken, and that shouldn't really be the case. We should have a set standard operating procedure that goes out. User interface, I mean, it is what it is. I think Xbox is still better than the Windows Store. I like the Windows app, I think is what it's called now on PC. I mean, I almost only play on PC in my Xbox Ally X, and it's fine except for having to update everything every 3 days, which is painful. But
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but every time I open the Xbox app on PC, it's like, you have update needed. And I'm just like, oh, man. So it's
Yeah.
painful. But
It's for me.
I
It's
think
more
it's
like
just
the armory shit, the Asus stuff, and like that's like the update nightmares. You know, it's for like if I open the store tab on my PC like once a week or so, and just go to the download section, and then go up to the right corner, hit update all, like it's done
yeah.
in like a couple minutes. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
I just want them to do that all in the background, to be honest.
yeah,
So hopefully they'll work on that.
yeah, it would be
Like,
nice.
I'll just give you blanket permission to update all my stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
I'm
I think
sure.
she's on the right path, man. If she can do that and get the studios on board, because that's what you need is more efficiency. They've laid off a lot of people. Hopefully, those were, I mean, I don't want anyone losing their jobs, but hopefully they were inefficient roles and they've gotten down to a slim, efficient team that can do agile projects. And that's what she's coming in as, right? AI person that is really good at getting agile, quick responses through coding and getting the whole waterfall methodology down for getting code pushed. So
Yeah,
I think there's a chance. And I'm not anti AI like everybody else. I have to use AI for my job. That's doing my job for me right now while I'm sitting here. So that's, but I know a lot of people are. But I think if you can use it and speed it up and not take away jobs, that's good. But my own opinion.
yeah, yeah. I think she's like, yeah, her background originally was with Porch, which is I'm familiar with just because I'm in the construction industry, and it's a service we've actually used before. It's basically like it's a lead tool for companies to gain customers, and it's like also a customer facing tool where um, like hey like Home Depot would, if somebody would ask somebody at Home Depot, hey, I need somebody to uh, install like windows in my house or whatever, right? Home Depot isn't necessarily allowed to give you a specific person, but they would say, okay, go to. They had a deal with Porch, right? Uh, let's let me show you this app, or you can use this, and then you can find a customer, right? Or I mean, a contractor, right?
Contractor.
Some
Yeah.
similar to Home Advisor or Thumbtack, if anybody out there knows those things. But the contractor pays for the leads, right? That get sent to them. And the customers are being funneled to the contractors. There's a whole review system in place, all that kind of stuff, right? The difference with Porch is they were dealing directly with retailers like Home Depot and things like that to kind of be their like referral tool, right? Um, and then she went to Instacart, I believe, right? And with Instacart, her job is more or less, it seems like, to find a way to streamline the experience and also attract consumers to use it, right? So it's not related to gaming, but you're still trying to draw people to use a product, right? A very mainstream, big time, highly competitive market with a product there, right? And the same thing with that lead service thing. It's very competitive out there. There's numerous ones of them out there. Angie's List is another famous one that's part of Home Advisor now. Anyway, like all this other kind of stuff has been going on with her with those roles. She went to AI, worked using her experience with Instacart and Porch AI team over at Microsoft. Did well. She is fast tracked, man. Like, this is not over a long history. Like, I mean, maybe 10 years total between the multiple roles, right? I think only like a year and a half or 2 years with Microsoft. And now to be put as the CEO of Microsoft Gaming is what her title is now. Phil had to be here for fucking 10 years to ascend to that role. I mean, he was just made CEO of Microsoft Gaming like 3 years ago, right? Because they kept ascending his role as it got bigger, right? Originally, it was just head of Xbox, which then Sarah Bond had gotten. I mean, she skipped all that shit. I mean, like they think very highly of her, and she came for us. She came out of the blue. We don't know her history of Porch and fucking Instacart and like an AI team at Microsoft. So it's like learning somebody based on what they're doing, right? And she admitted like I got to learn this. But I got to commend like the approach so far because we are privy to so many leaks and stuff. Because they're the leakiest faucet in gaming at Microsoft, has been like really impressive. Uh, it comes from like find an issue, address it, figure out what's the best path forward, and it's like no like wishy washy bullshit. No like stagnant. We might, I don't know, and trying to, we might eventually do this. Like, hey, we put a team together. We're already doing these things, ready to announce it. 3 weeks later, hey, we got some new updates from the same team, right? Memo comes out. Hey, I find core fundamental issues with this, and this, and this. We need to address these things. And guess what? I believe that they're going to do it because of how she's been so far. Hey, Game Pass is too expensive. We need to fix that. It's just like directly addressing fundamental problems that she sees without coming across like, hey, everything's fucked. This is horrible. It's like, hey, these are things we need to work on. These are things we need to do. And I think it's gonna be fucking quick. I think they're gonna do this shit faster than we think. And the internal talks they are having in there, I don't think she's a person to waste time with decisions. It seems like what decision they make in going forward, she's fine to cut ties with whatever the past is. Like as her statement was, the plan is the plan until it's not the plan. It's like that's the attitude, ready to go. And I got to commend that energy coming in to try and direct this ship because it's a massive fucking ship, right? I mean, it could go multiple ways. So, but it's pretty awesome to see so far. I saw Shane say in the chat, can't wait to see like how she is on like the PR side and the like interviews on like shows and stuff like that. It'll be very interesting as well. So far she's been doing good on social media aspect of it. Mac 22TH54 with the $2. So there are over 60 of us in here. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for watching the show. Shane G49 with the $2. Appreciate you again, Shane and Mac. Says, do you think they tease Helix in June or November event? Good question. June for me. What do you think, Fuzz?
I'm hoping June as well, but I think if anything, I would say you get it in both because November being the anniversary, I think they go more in depth. But I would like to see maybe a game running on Helix. I think we get a tease of that. Like end the show before they go to E-Day. Maybe a next generation Halo teaser. Cross gen, obviously, but we'll get to see what it looks like on Helix.
Yeah, I could see console. And what did they do for Scorpio? They just had like a talking point about it. And they're like, we eat monsters for breakfast. I could see that. And then November. I mean, I would love for them to do it like, I guess they could do it on the 25th anniversary. But it'd be cool if they also kind of tried to eat the Game Awards lunch and do a little bit closer to that because I don't like the Game Awards. But don't do it at the Game Awards. Do it on your own show.
Like Xlands Gaming says they just sent those Helix T-shirts out for a reason. I mean, that's when they did just announce, the Helix earlier this year, and it's only like what 2 months to showtime,
Yep.
roughly. I mean, less than actually. So I mean, they're already. I mean, that's already marketing. If you're sending out stuff to like influencers and stuff like that, that's already marketing, like a part of the whole train, right? It's a small thing right now, but it gets out there in social media. You know, we're gonna see what the next thing is gonna be. I would bet June on it. I think we actually might see the damn thing in June.
You guys think we get another like Project Helix edition for launch? Like it'll have that that name on the branding, but it'll be called something else, like the Scorpio edition. That's smart because
Yeah.
they've already kind of this name is blowing up, right? So
I think they should just
you
call
don't
it
want to get
Xbox Helix.
that'd be cool.
They
That
always
would
have
work.
good
Yeah.
code names and they never stick to them instead of something fucking boring. You know, I had
I
one of
think she
those
has a
Scorpio
chance though to like.
Xboxes.
Oh really? I'd love one. She
Yeah.
has a chance to kind of break this industry open of like a very stagnant, secretive industry where changes are made once every 2 years and it's very slow. You could become a platform of constant change with like feedback loops like she's trying to do. Like instead of talking about it in a committee for 6 months, we're just going to implement and we'll get feedback and we'll change it. And that's her best bet. And just be open with the people because I think a lot of gamers are sick of all the NDAs and secrets and trying to get rumors and leaks. Just talk to your consumers. No other industry is like this, except for like Marvel movies and movies. No other, the movie industry is not like this. They just, oh yeah, our movie's coming out in 7 years. We'll show you a trailer pretty
Yeah.
soon. But Xbox is like, we're gonna hide everything, and if it leaks, it ruins our whole. Then just don't make it a big deal. Just be upfront.
And it goes to
But that's
like
my thought on it.
there's like a fluidity that's like good to have with things, and it kind of go like with her comments too that she had made. It goes into kind of I think back to like Halo Infinite content updates, right? And remembering what it I was getting frustrated about with at the time because they were taking like 6 months for like a season after the game came out or whatever it was. I don't, but like all these maps were being made from all these other people after Forge came out that were so fast. And I know that they already had the Forge tools internally before Forge released. So it was baffling to me, like exactly like how it was taking this long to get maps out for the content. Um, and then like hearing them talk about in the interviews about those things, about the amount of testing they do for all these different things, and about like how much goes into like the making of the map and the amount of testing, and then the testing, and then it goes to this team for testing, and then it goes to this team for testing, and like, and I'm like, fuck me, guys, like that's not a very good way. Like, okay, first we got to get feedback from like our fucking like gamers that play this game that we're sharing this information with, right? Then we got to get feedback from this team, then we got to like just somebody make the fucking map. You know, they have a fucking lead designer that's in charge of making the maps, make the fucking maps, and release them out. If the fans don't like it, put it less in the rotation. Put the like the amount
Yep.
that they would go like it, and that goes into kind of like what this is talking about, like like streamline the shit, make it less complicated, man. We don't need fucking focus groups for content updates. You don't need like 3 or 4 different groups of teams from different aspects of a 1,000-person organization looking at something simple like a fucking map in a game, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like
And you know what?
just that's the kind of shit that I think could help is just like streamline the processes, right?
You know what I do to help fix this is you take your QA groups that are almost all in unions now, and you say, you know what, we're gonna train you all how to code, and you can have AI help you, And when you find a bug, you go fix it yourself. Instead of you find a bug, you write it, you send it back to devs, they fix it, they send it back to QA, they find another bug, they send it back, and it's 3 weeks sending it back and forth. Like, it's just so asinine. But like, yeah, that's what I would be doing. And she might do that, but I just think there's a lot of inefficiencies, as you were saying, that could get fixed. But it's
100%.
just that way in a huge company for sure.
A lot of projects that get canceled that are almost done too. That doesn't make any damn sense.
Blackbird. Oh, that still hurts.
Yeah, bro. Go. I so what the other thing I said, Fuzzy, like was like certain projects I would reignite. You know, motorsport they gotta figure out what to do with that also. But Blackbird canceling that was I think they had a home run with that game.
Yep.
So, all right.
It's probably Blade Runner with Fifth Element with a bit of Starfield and Mass Effect all wrapped into one.
Yep, pretty much. Now, you want to roll through some tidbits real quick?
Oh yeah, let me get everything set up.
Real quick, Matt Booty did have an interview talking about some of the team stuff, like how they share content. It's on the official Xbox podcast. If you guys go check that out, he did an interview with Tina Amini. It seemed like she wanted to drop some nuggets on how they come up with the shows, but he was like, no. But he did say they had just did the review of all the trailers and stuff, so they're already getting ready for I think this is going to be a pretty amazing show. I'm curious what all they got in store, but something like today's announcement, the Metro game, that could have been saved for June showcase.
Yeah, I do think it's smart on their side though, because they got a pretty big spotlight and everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
and if you do it in showcase,
I agree. It doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but I also think that means they have a lot of other awesome stuff. You know, because that's a pretty big game. You know, that would have made people really excited at the showcase. So to not have that there means well, they didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle, but because of the other stuff that's there, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We're set for tidbits.
All right, let me hit the button. I always forget to do this now. This is all right, everybody. This is tidbits where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week.
All right. This first one is, I pronounce it CTH ULHU, the Cosmic Abyss, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday for $49.99.
Cthulhu.
We've intercepted fragmented transmissions from the station. The crew reported whispers in the dark.
Cthulhu, the Cosmic
and
Abyss.
Something else, a city sleeping beneath the ocean floor.
What did y'all think of that Metro? Did you see it, Fuzzy?
Your mission is simple. Descend to the station.
And I like that they still have that worn aesthetic for the uniforms and things like that. You still have cracked visors for your gas mask.
Mm-hmm.
Weapons still look like they're improvised with nail guns and things like that. I'm just hoping it's not all underground. I'm hoping we still have some above map stuff, some snowy areas or things along those lines. But being a fan of the previous Metros, I'm looking forward to it.
Reminds me of Starfield.
The Cthulhu game?
Yeah. Like the environments.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of. Yeah, Metro looked really good. I think I was more interested in hearing the guys talk, about it. They sound scary when they're talking because they're have that accent. I think this game is going to make people how it feels to suffer. In real war, we suffer every day. and you are going to feel it. This is not going to be a game like a fairy tale. This is going to be a game of doom and hell and gloom, and you are going to feel oppressed and oppressed and just depressed and desperate for your life in the metro. Like it's the guy's
Very
like
depressing.
accent's crazy, bro.
Painful.
What is this one?
Right, this is Death by Scrolling coming to PS5, Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch this Thursday for $7.99. Another game that will be great on a handheld.
Cool. Yeah, looks fun. Lots of things popping and happening on the screen.
Yeah, roguelite it looks like. Balatro meets something else.
Looks like Vampire Survivors meets Frosty the Snowman. I don't fucking know. Death by Scrolling. Oh, this is the one that keeps going up. It keeps going up. Yeah.
This next one is Airbang, Shadow Legacy, coming to PS5, Series X and S this Thursday for $17.99.
Right on, man. Shane also says, I hope they show the future mainline Halo at Showcase. Yeah, same, dude. I really do.
What exactly?
I think that's the show closer before they go to E. Yeah.
That'd be a good FU to that guy that said their studio's garbage. Be like, look what we did.
Yeah. The ex developer or ex person, forget
Artist,
his name.
whatever.
Yeah, this always happens with the Halo Studios, man. 343 and now Halo Studios. I think when you have change, it always also kind of creates tension, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. Best revenge is to do a good job and make a good Halo game.
This next one here is Ground Zero coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday for $16.99.
Yeah, this is a survival horror game, kind of old, trying to go throwback style.
Yeah.
I think they try to make her look like Jill Valentine on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Ground Zero. She's
This is
immune
probably
because she's
one of
wearing a
the bigger
mask.
ones here. Mouse PI for Hire, PS5, Series X and S, Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, as well as PC this Thursday for $29.99.
A few weeks back. The sky was just the exit.
I think IGN got ripped for giving this a 6, I think. Was that who gave it a 6?
It didn't seem like much at first. Wasn't even sure it was a case.
I think it's got
IGN
good reviews overall, though.
Is the
Like an 82, yeah.
I just think IGN doesn't like gaming anymore. I just think they like commentary.
Yep.
Yeah.
But everyone only talks about their 6s, so it's working.
Yeah.
They're getting everyone talking about them. That's all they want.
Well, I don't recommend anybody go read the review. I don't recommend that. It's pointless.
Don't go to their website ever.
Don't click on any of their ads. They suck.
Right. Opus Prism Peak coming into Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 and PC this Thursday for $22.49. I think it has like a 10% sale or something like that.
Sorry for dragging you on this trip.
Well, I can't let a kid go up there alone.
They say I'm fading away.
If anyone should be gone, it's failures like me. Not someone with their whole life ahead. Hey,
So we're going around taking pictures of shit. This is like a puzzle game, right?
if there's a god in the fire,
Yeah, pictures
will
and
they see
puzzle
the moments that we
and
capture?
like collections.
Even the ones that show what's in our hearts.
Hey, kiddo. When you make it back, I hope you grow up strong. Even when your best isn't enough, try to stay brave.
If there's something you want to keep, capture it so it stays.
It's Everwild's successor.
Mhm. All right, this is Scriptorium.
Looks
Coming
like
or
Pentiment.
Scriptorium, Master of Manuscripts. This is the one that I was talking about earlier that kind of looks like Pentiment.
Yeah.
It's only on
Oh my
PC
goodness.
though, for $11.99.
It's like a craft book thing almost.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow, this is like
imagine
a
the
straight
inappropriate stuff that people are going to be doing with that. Whoa. It's like you're trying to create your own storybook pages or something,
Mhm.
using like pieces.
Right, this next one is Syntopia, coming to PC this Thursday for $29.74.
You were selected to be Hell Incorporated's new administrator. You and your team will have to knock the 7 deadly sins right out of the souls that come your way. Now, you're probably wondering, how does it work? What should I do? Don't you worry. No one really knows. That's the secret of a good administration.
Interesting. I don't know what's going on.
I think this is like one of those games where you have followers and they either go up or they go down.
Okay. Were you trying to like build like a civilization for them or something?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, they're all dead now.
Et voila! The fabled Liber Administratum, the all-powerful book of administration magic. It's yours to wield now. But be careful how you use that puppy, hmm? You do not want to end like your predecessor. Well, what are we waiting for? Chop chop! Boot camp awaits.
Syntopia.
It kind of reminds me of a modern version of a game that was on like in television called Utopia.
Oh, I played that.
Basically, you play God for your
Yeah.
followers, kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember Utopia. I like they had like the islands and there's like a ship and stuff, and you move around to different continents and stuff. It's like vague memory. I was like one of the first strategy games.
Yeah.
I was way too young to understand what the hell I was doing, but I played that a lot. Did you have a television, Fuzz?
I had I forget what it was called. A computer called the Aquarius, which was an Intellivision with a keyboard
Oh,
and
okay.
a printer and stuff like that. So all the Intellivision games worked on it.
Okay. Yeah, that was my first thing I ever played a game on was Intellivision. A lot of Burger Time. Astro Smash. Frog Bog. Snafu.
Oh, this is the day I became a bird. PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. $15.99. Currently on Steam. I think everywhere else is $19.99. And then Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream on Nintendo Switch this Thursday for $59.99.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy this one. Daughter wants it.
Too cool. Unbelievable.
I just don't understand the difference between this and Animal Crossing.
So sparkly. I mean,
Yeah, and if you're
I
gonna
think
play
it's
one
just
of
the
these,
characters.
if you're gonna play one of these, just go play Pacopia, which looks actually fun.
That cloud looks just like Terra.
But these games are popular.
in fact, that she can do some mean punches and kicks. Or hoof it around town.
Cozy life simulators.
Yeah.
And in case it wasn't obvious that Terra is cool, she can also style hair with clean-cut precision.
Kind of surprised EA hasn't made another Sims. Either go with this style or a more photorealistic version of what they've been doing.
Yeah. Well, they games a service Sims now, so it's like
Tomodachi Life. Living
Sims
the
4
dream.
just always gets
Available
like new
April 16th
content.
on the Nintendo Switch system. Pre-orders and a demo are available now on
Cat
Nintendo
owner
eShop.
expansion, the dog owner expansion, tropical bird expansion. Like, wait, what?
Tropical
Ooh.
Paradise, College, Honeymoon, Island Vacation,
About a face-off.
Going to work, and Tropical
And then the
Pets,
specific job updates. Yeah.
Exotic Pets, Laundry.
Right, this is Generation Exile coming to PC this Friday for $29.99.
It's like a hexagonal, like city builder, whatever.
SimCity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't surrender it to the capybaras. Oh shit!
Oh.
With a twist. Exile. Man, there's so many fucking games, dude.
Yeah. This next one is a big one. Finally releasing Pragmata this Friday for $59.99, coming to PS5, Series X and S, Switch 2, believe it or not, and PC.
Yeah, it's got really good reviews, man.
Yeah. Now the Switch 2, this was kind of like what you were talking about earlier, where the Switch 2 version doesn't quite look like the others, but it's kind of expected, I guess.
Yeah.
It just looks like DLSS performance mode. It's fine.
Yeah.
To go to Earth.
What the hell is going on here? And why are these things trying to kill us?
I wasn't interested in this game just because I didn't want a little girl crawling on my back the whole damn time and annoying me. However, like the gameplay of the combat and stuff looks really good. So I might end up getting this at some point on sale.
I'm calling it.
Yeah.
You'd make a lousy friend.
I'm surprised if the Capcom deals this one didn't get Game Pass. They must see it as a bigger game.
Yeah.
Because we got like the Dancing Queen one, and we got Exo, whatever it was called, Exo Primal.
Yeah, this has been in development for like fucking. I mean, they announced this in like 2020 or 2019, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. This was like before or at the very beginning of the generation.
Yep.
Okay, then let's go together.
Could be
The
Game of the Year
latest-
contender, you guys think, or no?
Capcom, it probably will be in the
In the
running.
discussion.
I'm gonna get a better look.
Yeah. It's on all platforms too, so that also helps.
Bad Dad Simulator. So
I mean, Resident Evil Requiem will probably be up there as well.
Yeah. So they'll have 2 in the ring, or at least 2.
yeah, I don't think this one will make it. Cause you have GTA 6 and Forza Horizon 6, and there's gonna be a lot of big
Yeah,
ones.
It'll be interesting if this year Forza Horizon gets the nod considered.
Got to.
I mean, it was
Got
already
to.
like there. You know what I mean? If this is even more well received and even more popular, like it'd be hard to not include it, I think.
Yeah, Wolverine will get in even if it's a 72.
Not enough flesh cuts, only robot cut.
Yep.
This next one is Dragon Quest Smash and Grow. Finally
What?
coming to mobile phones.
Uh-oh.
It's free to play with in-app purchases. Coming Monday to your cell phone or smartphone.
Dun, 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 dun.
ローグライト RPG 魔物の群れを必殺技で爽快にスマッシュ集めたグロー結晶で冒険スキルを獲得選んだスキルは毎回リセット変化する冒険を楽しもう成長するキャラクターたち3人の仲間でパーティーを編成しよう
They announced Dragon Quest 12 a long time ago. I wonder if that's gonna come out this year.
スタイルは自由自在さまざまなゲームモード強力なボスに挑戦ココナクエストハイスコアを目指して戦い抜け魔物ラッシュ
Yeah, they announced Dragon Quest 12 in 2021.
マルチクエスト
So
What was the last one that came out? I remember playing one.
11 was the last mainline one, and that was like 2015 or something.
That could be a good candidate to be at like a showcase show this summer.
2026年配
Yeah.
信予定事前登録受付中
Square likes Xbox right now, so maybe.
yeah.
One click, and Albion spills into
Albion Online coming to Series X and S this Tuesday. It's also a free to play. And finally gets controller support.
Okay? Or just forge your destiny with hammer and steel. Haha! True power demands experience. Explore breathtaking lands, along with nature's most persistent companions. Relax by the water and master the art of fishing. Oh, this guy can't catch a break. But if you crave true adventure, deep within the shadow realms of Albion, where ancient evils stir in forgotten ruins, dare to raid the hidden dungeons, venture into the abyss, where twisted beasts lurk in the gloom, guarding treasures so... Whoa! Who's this guy? Anyway, armor up! You're in for a brutal... Oh! Oh! Unite your strength and risk it all together! I got
this on my own. Wanna team up?
Albion Online. Hurry to Xbox.
Wasn't that a game that like used to be out and then went away and it came back? Is that this one?
I know it was definitely an early access on PC. All right, this one is Drop Dutchy or Douchey.
Douchey?
There's no T, so I'm saying Douchey instead of Dutchy. So,
Okay.
It's coming to PS5 and Nintendo Switch this Tuesday for $22.99.
Drop Douchey. All right.
That reminds me a little bit of Ball Pit, or at least part of it.
Is it like a competitive game?
I think so. It's city building, but like with puzzle pieces or blocks and stuff.
Right.
This one's going to be a big one on Game Pass. Vampire Crawlers coming to PS5, Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC this Tuesday for $9.99 or part of your Game Pass Ultimate subscription.
Nice.
Card game on a gaming console. $9.99 plus the price of the console or day one on the Game Pass. Since 2021, edible vampire repeller, 2 sacks of coins, floor chicken, a friendly headbutt, only when crawling, a stroll in the average Italian countryside, do speechy, a hammer, 300,000 euro. Stop buying drugs. Buy a vampire crawler.
Stop buying drugs by vampire crawlers. That's fucking crazy. All right.
Right, this next one is Masters of Albion. I'm into PC this Wednesday for $19.99, and yes, it's that Albion.
Okay. There's also Albion and Fable.
Mm-hmm.
The old name for England.
Yeah.
So
It's from the guy that I think helped create the original Fable, if I'm not mistaken.
As a resident of Albion, I've seen it all. Life's a little stranger in my neck of the woods, see? There's Big Hammond, for one thing. Controlling all our towns.
Well, you mean that you're not talking about Peter Molyneux, are you?
Yeah, I think this is his studio.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
It seems like something he would make.
Because remember when he made that cube where you're supposed to click a box or a corner each way? That's the 22 cube.
I remember
studio.
this. I just remember seeing shit.
And questing. Fact is, hand will even slide inside the mind of our pets if we let it. But we wouldn't have it any other way. Because Big Hand is our protector, see? Because once the sun's gone down, creatures of the night rise up.
It's kind of little like village builder where you're building defenses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And come calling. We have heroes.
Has anybody made a game where you're the aliens that come to Earth and make the pyramids and all that stuff?
Mm.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. Fucking browser's having issues.
Are you using Chrome, Edge, or something else?
I was using Firefox.
We have a vacancy that needs filling. There's one seat empty in this story. That of the Master.
I realized it was frozen.
Might you be the one to sit on his throne? Might you be the next Master of Albion?
I haven't been able to see the chat for a while. I just realized it hadn't been moving. Sorry, I don't know how long it's been frozen for, guys. I'm trying to go back and look.
All right, this next one, and actually this is the last one for tonight. Tides of Tomorrow coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC for $29.99 this Wednesday.
No replaced?
A unique feature.
Well, we missed the cutoff for replace because
okay.
it was Wednesday or Tuesday release with Hades 2.
Right.
I think it was on the previous show because it was like the bigger title for last week.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Or even a total stranger.
You guys played that?
Not yet.
I did the prologue.
Not yet. Played Hades 2 already, but I picked it up on Steam. I'm playing it now on Xbox. I just synced up my saves between the two.
Nice.
So, like, for example, on the tiers, like, if you only have Premium, you can play Hades 2. But, like, Replace came out only on Ultimate, right?
Yeah.
I get Hades 2 has already been out, but it's also new release on Xbox. So, it's, like, weird that one's available on Premium and one's not, because they're both technically day and date releases.
Yeah.
You'll support the devs and look cool doing it.
I know that they've had a lot more marketing,
Tides of Tomorrow is a true
though, with
project
Replace,
from a small,
you know,
dedicated team.
years of it.
Yeah.
We hope to see you on the tides.
Yeah, it's like one of the few Switch 2 games I bought. Fuzzy Tomato was Hades 2.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
That's it for tonight.
Well, that was it for Tidbits this week. Thanks, Fuzzy Belvedere. You're awesome as always. Some cool stuff this week, though. I'll say some interesting, good stuff, multiple genres. And yeah, it was a fun show. Like I said before, guys, check out that Matt Booty interview if you hadn't, because he gets some insight on some of the ways that the studios do work together. So it's interesting seeing the contrast between, like, Asha Sharma says, like, hey, there's issues with just the structure of how we're doing things, and then Matt Booty be like, we're sharing this, we're sharing that, we're sharing this between all the studio, like, everything's, you know. So it's like somewhere in there is the reality. I know that they do share stuff because people have told us this stuff before, but I think things are going awesome direction right now. So can't wait to see more. Each week we got more stuff to talk about, it seems like, lately. So plenty more to discuss. Every news drop, every leak, every rumor, every game reveal. So can't wait to be back next week. Thanks for watching Stanley Francois. This great damn show, fellas, as always. Great damn chat. You guys have been rocking in the chat the whole time. Appreciate every single one of you for being here. Calorie, thank you for being here, man. Sorry for the big delay in the middle of the show. It caused us to go longer than usual. But I do appreciate your time, man. And it was fun hanging out with you again. Make sure people know where to find you.
Yeah, just look me up, Calorie, on X, and I have a page on YouTube. There's no videos on it, I think so. But you're welcome to look me up and subscribe if you want.
Cool.
But yeah, just happy to be here and look forward to the next couple of months.
Yeah, dude. We're getting into that season. It's like kind of getting into that season where the gaming news really, really gets pumping. So I'm welcome to join us anytime you want, man. I'm happy to have you here. And Fuzzy Belvedere, the one and only. Appreciate you as always, dude. Tell everybody where they can listen to your rambles and rants.
As always, love doing this podcast with you, Mav. And it was awesome being on here with Calories this evening. love you guys' thoughts on the industry, and looking forward to not only Forza Horizon 6, in 4 weeks, but this June showcase and a lot of probably a lot more surprises between now and the end of the year that they got in store for us. But you can always find me on social media. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me. Other than that, Breakfast with Boom 10 a.m. tomorrow on Double Barrel Gaming. And then Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, we'll be interviewing Horror Scene, a industrial metal and rock band that does a lot of the theme songs or music for a lot of independent horror films in our area. So look forward to that. 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hope to see you there.
Right on, man. Appreciate you. Everyone, hope you have a good one. Take it easy, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
See you guys.